the search continues for that next playmaker. It really needs to happen here soon because we're getting to that point. But P, I want to talk about something you've talked about here, which is the defensive line depth. Which I look, I've never pushed back on you. My thing is just kind of like everybody's got this problem. You just cross your fingers a little bit. But certainly one thing that is controllable here, Pete, and you've harped on this, so I want to kick it to you, is Bane and Messidor, you understand why they're playing a lot of snaps. They're great. Blunt and Lightfoot are healthy, right? So our health is good on the defensive line. My concern with the defensive line depth is health, just because everybody, I think, has that problem. But here maybe seems to me, and based on our discussions offline, it might be more of an issue about utilization than just injury or something that you can't control.
I mean, D, I'll say this because you were the one who brought this story up, but against FSU, and I know there was some factors to it from the play before, but like, for example, Bane was told to come off the field for Blunt, refused to come off the field, played through it, made the play. I think there's somewhat of a pattern with that. With guys want to be out there, I understand. But when you're playing 70 plus snaps a game, that is not sustainable whatsoever. And yeah, you're not 3 deep right now on that D line, but you've got enough to be able to throw certain guys situationally to where, hey, let this guy get a breather too. And I don't know that this is something that the coaches aren't trying to fix. At a certain point, guys have to step up and say, all right, I'm going to take a step back for a couple plays and let the young fella go out there. It is an issue, D. It is an issue, and we saw it last game. I understand they were getting the ball out quick, but they looked gassed at the end of that game.
They did. I mean, the Messidor's hurt, right? So, and that thankfully not like, catastrophically hurt, but I mean, banged up. And when he played, he was ineffective a lot of the time. And it was 100% due to injury, not any effort level or preparation, I don't think, or anything like that. So,
Machiavelli asking, is Malik Bryant trying to redshirt? Without speculating on a situation, guys, we said it earlier in the show. If a guy hasn't played that many games this year, who knows what happens, because there's a situation where guys try to preserve eligibility. So I'm not speculating there. I'm just saying we haven't seen him, there has to be a reason, and he's not on the injury report. So
David Eisenberg asking who's 35. That's Herbert Scroggins, who did play in this game
and will continue to. He's going to be, I think, we've been all over that one. D. He's that guy who's going to step up and get those reps now, I think.
And by the way, one of those guys, I've never heard someone say, "Man, I hope Herbert Scroggins does the right thing this week." I've never heard that. So, in my experience, those are the guys that tend to play. And I've seen the comment, and we dealt with this. We've seen this kind of conversation before. Hassan saying, "Beard, our running back coach, don't play talented players. We should play trader. Coaches show favorites." Every single coach in America is going to play the guys they can trust and the guys that are doing the right things consistently to play. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. If they really, really have to play a talented player that's not doing the right things or that's not performing in practice or whatever it is, if they have to because they don't have any other choice, they'll do so. 99% of the time, that's a sign of you're cooked at that point. The two guys that are playing a receiver, on top of being probably the 2 hardest workers, are the guys that deserve to play. And they deserve, quite frankly, to get all the targets right now. Someone has to take those targets from them because they have earned all those targets. That's all. I mean, I don't know what else to say. The coaches want to win too. As far as playing favorites, their favorites are the guys they can trust and that perform consistently. But there's a reason. Go ahead.
And you need more from. I mean, you need more from a Justin Scott, who we talked about last week with Steve Kim. Like, we talk a lot about JoJo as a highly rated recruit who needs to, step up and play a bigger role. And I think Justin Scott, you could say the same thing, D.
Yeah. Well, and I think defensive tackle is one position that I'm just happy it's healthy. I think it's a pretty solid spot. Even the running game where it got going with Isaac Brown, it's not like that Louisville was pushing around our DTs. A lot of that was just great play calling by Brom, great execution. Isaac Brown's got a lot of speed, and then poor tackling, I thought, by our back seven. Guys that have been good tacklers all season, coming out of that bye week just weren't as ready to rock, which it's not blaming the schedule and more blaming, staff and players. I say blaming. I mean, it's the responsibility of the staff and players for not being ready to deal with that situation. Other teams have to deal with it this year too. But I think that is what happened. That just early on, the tackling wasn't where it needed to be from those guys coming out of that bye week.
Worst tackling game in Mario. Yeah, his tenure. So
and it was early. It was early was when they really stacked up. So I think that's a big one. It's not like Louisville is pushing around our DTs. I think our DTs, to me, have been the most pleasant surprise of the season as far as how they stopped the run. You look at Jeremiah Love. I mean, watching Notre Dame now and seeing how dynamic those two backs are, the best defense, the best offensive backfield in the country. I mean, I'm impressed that we stopped them so badly. And then you look at, Ba, your boy, having a really, really big game. So our D tackles have stopped some really good backs. I think in this one, it was a lot of just bad tackling from the back seven to coming out the bye week and then Braum was every time when we lined up 3rd and 10 and we kind of got into our NASCAR package or try to get Ruben Bain one-on-one and create these matchups, Brown ran right at the soft spot and there was no one there. It was just great play calling by Braum and great execution by them.
Mohammed Hussein says, does Beck make any player better? I would argue that Malachi Tony and CJ Daniels are liking getting the ball from him.
Yeah, they love him. And they're boys. So, I mean, that's kind of how it is. But someone else needs to fill that role. And it's going to be someone who makes his life easy. I mean, yeah, he makes players better. But at the same time, guys need to make his life easy. Those guys make his life easy. And they get the ball. That's just kind of the way it usually goes. Let's see. Rocco says, we seem so slow. I mean, it's one of those things where when you're playing bad, you look slow. When you're playing well, good, you look faster. We looked faster last week, and we were bombing it away against FSU or 2 weeks ago. I don't think we are the fastest team on offense in the country for sure. I think
Louisville
we're definitely
faster than us.
Yeah,
offensively.
I would agree with that.
Which is gross to think about, especially considering one of those guys is from down here.
Yeah, no, they are. They are. I mean, they're probably one of the fastest teams in the country if you break it down, really, because they have a speed back, and then they have Bell, who we talked about. He's the closest thing to Jeremiah Smith that's not Jeremiah Smith right now, and then Lacey's more of like a speed type receiver. So yeah, I would agree with that. But they're faster than a lot of teams. I mean, they're faster than any team we've played, and we've played some good teams as far as their skill.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be something that we continue to see them needing to upgrade, though, D. And here's the real issue. If we're talking about speed, right? Like we've talked a lot about Xavier Lucas, OJ Frederick, their ability to run. They didn't trust it on Friday night because they were playing off and letting them get beat underneath. A lot of they had some man beaters as well.
Yeah, that was the first one was man coverage. And then if you watch the replay, the first Bell touchdown, so it was a crosser. Frederick was chasing him. Obviously, a very hard play to make in man coverage. You got to really book it, especially against a guy like Bell. And then he got hit. Frederick got rubbed. So it was basically wide open. And then he caught it and he ran through our secondary. So it wasn't that. My big thing on rewatch, among other things, was like, I don't think Frederick played very bad. I thought Frederick and Bill had a nice battle. It was really the secondary as a whole trying to tackle this guy, which was the problem because he made us look real bad once he caught the ball, whether it was zone coverage or on that crosser.
Guys, if you're just joining the show now, and we're getting a lot of Beck questions. So we talked about this pretty at length in the beginning of the show. So if you rewind back, you'll see what you want probably about Carson Beck.
Let's see what happened here. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some truth to this here, which is, let's see here. Angel says Dawson wanted to play Louisville like FSU. When he realized we couldn't run the ball down the middle, we got to start trying to run outside the box. I think he did. I think probably did think we could play Louisville like FSU. I think obviously the passing game was not as tight and locked in as it was against FSU. The decision making wasn't as good. I would say also, I thought we'd push around Louisville more just based on what happened last year. If you watch that game last year, remember that was a game where Martinez completely ran over Louisville. Fletcher was running him over. I think we ran for like 220 yards in that game. So I thought it'd look more like that. Just forget all the stuff Cam Ward did in that game, but just from like a man-on-man running back, offensive line standpoint. But Louisville played tougher this game. They were locked in from the beginning, confident on defense, and they stepped up and they stopped the run. I agree that I don't think Dawson thought that was going to happen the way it did, or Mirabal thought it was going to happen the way it did. Probably because last year we just ran all day on them.
I disagree with this comment here from who was it? Someone said, Tommy Cruz, appreciate support as always. He said, we made Bell look better than what he is. It's what he's done in the ACC this season. And we said it before the game, he's going to be probably the first or second receiver taken this year. So I think that's what he is. We probably could have done something more to slow it down. But I think that's who he is.
Yeah. He's awesome. I mean, it's amazing that how was this guy ranked so low is what I want to figure out. We did a whole show on it for Group Chat Sports, which we'll do in a second. Here at the end of the show, we'll bring on Clay Fink and talk national college football like we do. But man, how did this guy who's 6'2", 220 coming out of high school, how is he a 3-star player? It's amazing to me. 200-meter dash. I mean, it shows you sometimes that if one of these physical freak guys has the right attitude, you could really develop him, because that's what this guy was. Clearly, he's developed and improved. I don't think he was always this kind of wide receiver, right, in terms of overall game. But man, he's a talented dude. 22, 200 at 220 pounds, and clearly he plays even faster than he ran on the track.